Beyond Your Body Speaks, the Silent Language of Toastmasters. This presentation was given at the Fall 2012 District 36 Toastmasters Conference. Thank you for such a nice introduction. I'm Beth Stinson. Welcome to Beyond Your Body Speaks, the Silent Language of Toastmasters. I put this presentation together after reading this book, The Silent Language of Leaders, How Body Language Can Help or Hurt How You Lead, by Carol Kinsey Goman. This book changed the way I interact with people. It also led to my own research on using body language to promote collaboration in my Toastmasters Club and beyond. Today, I'm going to share my research with you and help you practice new leadership skills. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? If not a meeting at work, perhaps a meeting in your Toastmasters Club, or in a classroom, or even around your dinner table. Did you know it might be your fault? If your body gives off the wrong signals, it doesn't matter what you say. I want your meetings to look more like this. Totally different vibe, isn't it? So let's get started. Today I'm going to talk about why nonverbal intelligence is so important to leaders today. Next, I'm going to share how people read body language, dabbling a little in science, and for those of you who know me know I cannot resist interesting scientific data. Then we're going to have some fun with members of the audience as I show you how to use body language to collaborate successfully with your Toastmasters Club, your colleagues, your friends, and your family. So what is body language? Body language is the management of time, space, appearance, posture, gesture, vocal variety, touch, smell, facial expression, and eye contact. While some of this is covered in Project 5, Your Body Speaks, from the Competent Communicator Manual, the advice is for speakers. Make eye contact. Gesture, move around, use vocal variety. All sounds familiar, doesn't it? But as leaders, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Body language directly impacts your ability to collaborate. The latest scientific research in neuroscience and psychology has proven that body language is crucial to leadership effectiveness. Anytime your body language and your words are out of alignment, people believe what they see and not what they hear you say. Just like that photo of the bad business meeting. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. I work in software development. To make better products, we test our software on different people and record their reactions. I watch them interact with the application. We interview them and fill out questionnaires. I was conducting a user test and asked the subject questions. I asked if the software was easy to use. And while she was shaking her head no, she said, yes, it's easy to use. I asked her if she understood what to do on the screen. And she shook her head no again, but she said to me, yes, I understand. Naturally, I did not believe she was able to use the software easily, despite what she told me. I believed her shaking head, and I marked the questionnaire negatively. Building your nonverbal intelligence will help you pick up on the body language of others, like I did, but it will also help you project the messages you want to project and make collaborating with others easier. It's important today more than ever before. Why? Everyone is on video. If you aren't now, you will be. Getting your body language in line with your words is very important when you're on camera. YouTube, video conferencing, webinars, online courses, telecommuting, iChat, Skype, the list is endless. The thing about videos is that they're played over and over again, so a single bad gesture can haunt you every time the recording is played. As the song says, it's a small world. We live in a diverse landscape. Lots of body language is universal, but some is not. Making sure your body is in alignment with your words is especially important when collaborating with people who are different than you are. Differences can be based on something as simple as gender. Women typically stand and sit closer together when they're communicating and collaborating than men do. Or cultural. A thumbs up gesture in America means everything is A-OK, but to some people in the Middle East, it's the equivalent of getting the middle finger. Recently, in the Washington Post, there was a story about a handbook written by the Afghanistan military about forgiving American soldiers their cultural sins. Unknowingly, Americans insult Afghanis daily by patting them on the back or the rump to acknowledge a good job, or by blowing their noses in public. Sometimes these unattended insults have deadly consequences. Why is it that we react so strongly to nonverbal communication? Here comes the science part. On the count of 3, I want everyone to turn to their neighbor and smile. 1, 2, 3. This is what your brain looks like right now. The science of brain imagery has given us some new insight into how our brains react to nonverbal communication. According to a study at Duke University, when people smile at us, the reward centers of our brains become very active. This activity causes us to like and remember the people who smile at us. What a simple yet powerful tool for leaders who want to collaborate. One of my first Toastmasters mentors told me to smile when giving my speeches. Another mentor told me to smile when I talked on the telephone because even though no one could see me, they could hear me smile. In business, in the military, in our social lives, and in our Toastmasters clubs, emotions are the key drivers in decision making, not logic. Look no further than the bombardment of political ads we faced this fall. Emotional decisions are made without deliberation. They are made quickly in the limbic system of our brain, the middle part that makes value judgments. The limbic system plays a key role in nonverbal communication, both generating and interpreting body language. This in part explains why we act so strongly and why many, but not all, body language signals are the same around the world. So let me ask you, would you rather work for this person or this person? We are genetically programmed to look for nonverbal cues and understand them quickly. Many are universal, like a genuine smile or the wide eyes of surprise. We instinctively distrust people who keep their hands out of sight. Other nonverbal cues are learned at an early age from our culture and environment. The most important thing to keep in mind, though, is the meaning of body language is in the eye of the beholder. Interpreting happens fast and at an emotional level. So even though you hide your hands to cover the scratches your kitten gave you, it makes the people in the room uncomfortable. So how can you leaders use nonverbal signals to promote collaboration? In a leadership situation, there are 2 important nonverbal signals you need to convey. The first is warmth. A smile, a head nod, a handshake, or a shoulder touch convey warmth. This is in conjunction with a sincere inquiry about something personal, a sports team, a movie, a pet, a hobby, and in some situations, family. The second nonverbal signal to convey is authority. Project authority by eye contact, a firm handshake, an open stance, and visible hands. By projecting warmth and authority, you project the look of leaders. So we have learned that people are hardwired to pick up on body language immediately and at an emotional level. Many nonverbal signals are universal, but some are not. The 2 most important messages to get across as a leader are warmth and authority. But in the end, nonverbal communication is in the eye of the beholder. And beholders make mistakes. So here are some mistakes people make you need to be aware of in your role as a leader. You can't make sense of nonverbal messages if you do not understand the context in which they are made. Context is complex. It can include a location, past relationships, the time of day, past experience. Depending on the context, nonverbal signals can have a totally different meaning. Your team members and colleagues can't possibly know all the variables that create your actions. For example, if you yawn and stretch during a meeting, your team will think you are bored, but it's really because you were up all night with a sick child. As a leader, provide the context. Humans pay more attention to negative messages than positive ones. There's that limbic system in your brain again. What people unconsciously look for and react to the most are signs that you're in a bad mood. What this can mean is if you pass someone in the hallway and don't make eye contact, or if you frown during a meeting, others will not approach you. Your colleagues will think you didn't like what you heard, and they will keep their thoughts and ideas to themselves. If you make any nonverbal display of anger, irritability, or annoyance, people will hold back their opinions. They will limit their comments and shorten their interactions. People find meaning in a single gesture. Be aware of what you're projecting and then provide the context. Everyone has personal bias. When you meet someone who instantly reminds you of someone else, you project those feelings onto that person, even though they are completely different. Sometimes this can work in your favor. Let's say your new boss says you remind her of her younger sister. She sees you as likable and serious, just like her sister, so she overlooks a few mistakes. But biases can work against you too. What if instead your boss's younger sister was lazy and undependable? As a leader, be mindful of any personal bias you bring into collaborating with others. Everyone has a cultural bias as well. Collaboration can be difficult when we fail to consider our cultural bias and the bias of people in our groups. As a leader, you are judged by behaviors that may include how close you stand to others, how much or how little you touch others, the amount of eye contact you give. Body language in one culture may be right and in another wrong. Remember those Afghani troops who were so offended by a pat on the back? So let me ask you, what did you think when you first saw this picture? In Arab culture, people of the same sex often hold hands as a sign of friendship and trust. There is no sexuality conveyed in this gesture. But the cultural bias of North America looks at people of the same sex holding hands quite differently. When I was working at Miami International University, I experienced some cultural bias, and boy oh boy did some signals get crossed. I was a brand new supervisor of a large team of employees who worked in many different locations. During my first week, I drove around the campus with the locksmith to test all the keys to all the offices I was in charge of. I talked with him and made plenty of eye contact. I was excited about my new job and wanted to make a good impression on the man who would provide security for my team. At the end of the day, I got out of the golf cart we drove around in, and the locksmith patted me on the behind and gave me a huge grin. Well, I was shocked, speechless. Before storming off to HR to report sexual harassment, I asked my boss what happened. She laughed and told me that the locksmith thought I was interested in him. It was his way of showing his interest back. I said, I never flirted with the man, and she said, oh yes I did. All that eye contact and lively conversation in his culture meant I was interested and available. So we have seen why aligning your nonverbal language with your spoken word is so important to success and collaboration. We've also heard about different mistakes people make interpreting body language. So what is the body language of collaboration, and how can you as leaders begin to practice it?